And then began doing healing work with Reiki, and that's progressed to other things. So calls like this are just so powerful, and it's been a real. I've done similar work with other people as well, and we can really kind of go deep with these calls. And I'm so looking forward to this call particularly, but for all the others in the series as well. And I'll tell you more about light language later on in the call, but part of what I do sound healing. It's all about vibration, but another way of channeling the light, basically, and the love is through light language. So it's a way of it kind of coming through your mouth. Normally it comes through my hands, but it's a way of it kind of coming through my mouth as well. So there'll be a bit more about that later. And I'm in England. Spent the last 12 years, apart from the last year, in Australia, and now I'm back in England. So that's a little bit about me and how I came to be here. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you as well. I'll put down the talking stick.
Then a little bit about me. I pretty much born in a family that's spirituality. It's normal. The energy just kind of grows in my family. My grandmother was highly intuitive. My mom is highly intuitive. That's just, for me, it was kind of learning the people they are not. It was kind of surprising when I was a teenager, realizing, oh, people are not like me, and having the whole society looking at I'm the weirdo one. Then kind of learning to process that, and actually now standing on my 2 feet as my own business and be able to help others with that gift that comes so natural to me. Then I had the training on Reiki. I'm a media. Then I have my guides that work with me. I do light language as well, not as great as Denise does. She has way more experience for light language. I love hearing she talking the light language. Just my whole heart exploded. And quite excited to introduce to you guys that power that Denise has as well. And as far as my background, I'm a physical therapist. I graduated about 10 years ago. I am a transformational coach. I have a life coaching degree, and I'm also working with energy healing. Then the way that I describe myself is I mix all 3 areas of healing. That's the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional with everything that I do. Then when we create the program for this course, we brought all 3 components. What I really like, because Denise is totally aligned with that thought as well. Then we're going to have one day that we're going to talk about physical body. We have one day that we're going to talk about the emotionals. And one day we're going to be talking about the spiritual. Then we're going to really break down the fear and the depths and diversity as much as we can in a month program. So that's quite exciting. Then I think that's enough about me. Then before we start, I just wanted to you guys kind of know the format. Then what we do, we have a talking stick. Then I'm going to put this talking stick on the center with the question. And Chanel, I'm aware that you may not be able to answer, then you're also welcome to type it if that's easier for you. If you can type it, that's, okay, I'm just happy that you're able to join as well. Then I'm just going to put the talking stick on the center. We take turns answering questions, and then we're going to be alternating with meditation, like language and dialogue, and making like a fun next hour and a half experience. Then the first thing that I want to show, if you can introduce yourself, say where are you calling from, and also what is your intention for the day. And putting the talking stick on the center.
Okay, my name is Kim Yepes, and I'm in Corrales, New Mexico. And I think my goal for today would be to move beyond going straight to fear when I have that stress response, and to be able to go to like a higher level when, you know, as a response to stress. And I actually feel like a lot of my fear has been moving out in like the last, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks. And it's very interesting and very surprising for me. And I'm sure there's a lot still there to work with, but kind of interesting that it's already like I feel like it's literally leaving my energy field. But I don't know. That's what I feel like. But we'll see.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, it's definitely, it's leaving the planet as well, it feels like. Yeah, it's totally in alignment with what you were saying.
Hope so.
We have someone that joined, but you have your microphone off. I don't know how to say the name is Mura. Can you hear us? And if you can just kind of maybe type something, let us know if you can hear us. Let me send a message to him. Can you hear us? Okay. Mario, is that you? That doesn't look like your last name. Is that your friend's name, maybe, Denise?
If it is, it's a different name. It's not one that I've seen before.
Okay.
And I suspect that they can't hear as well. Yeah.
Okay, put the talking stick back on the center, and I'm going to try to send a message to the people that we're waiting.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So hi. I think most people know me. I'm Michelle. I'm living near Charlotte at the moment, North Carolina. But throughout this course, I will be traveling back to the UK. My intention, I've had to face most of the big fears in my life over the last 6 months with relocating and having to do things completely differently without family and friends supporting. So I've faced the big things. So for me, it's actually about being aware of the little things and those beliefs that are in me that are probably not, they're not visible to me, but I think could then affect my little boy. So there are little things that I'm like, don't, be careful where I'm being, yeah, if I could deal with those so that he can be a bit freer and I can be free, that'd be fabulous. It's about those. The big things are done. And I can't hear you now. I'm not sure why.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, guys, I was muted. That's beautiful. I love how you say about the unconscious fear that we have. That's such a good point, because a lot of times we have the conscious fear that's right on our face, but a lot of times we have the subconscious fear, like, oh, be careful.
Yeah.
Or, oh my gosh, I'm going to be attacked, or something bad is going to happen, but it's like so little in the background that we do the small things in life day in, day out without even realizing those fears are there. Beautiful. Okay, who's next? Chadwick, you would like to share?
Can you hear me? Oh, someone else said something.
Oh, let me just.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Let me just share. Oh, it's Shannon. Okay, she's calling from. She's twice there. Okay, got it. Okay, let me just read her answer, and then you can share. She just said, my name is Shannon. I live in Charlotte. I work in corporate healthcare, and I want to gain from this class is to remove the fear of judgment from others and victimhood so I can operate well in my personal and business life, operate at the highest level. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, awesome. Go ahead, Chadwick. Thank you.
I think I had a birthday yesterday, and so I want to spend less time focusing on the things that cause me to hesitate, to step back and pause. I want to be more of a, okay, let's do it. More of a intuitive and more of a conscious thought versus having to second guess because of fear.
Beautiful. Awesome. Denise would like to share?
Yeah, I just, Michelle, I just muted you, sweetheart, because there was a bit of feedback. Sometimes when there's a couple of people that are still not on mute, you get a bit of feedback. So I don't know if you spotted that, but I just muted you there because as the hosts, we have the power to do such things. Yeah, fear has been a very interesting journey for me, actually, and really, I've spent most of my life, especially my younger life and childhood, in fear, not of anything in particular, but just of everything, really. I was a very kind of fearful child. And it's only really, I guess, in the last few years that I've, learnt to overcome those fears or face them. As it depends what they are, really, whether and how rational or irrational they are. But I think it's something that everybody has up to a certain point, and to varying degrees. And I used to get really anxious, just in shops, being served in shops, like silly things, really. And a lot of that, just as you get older and you become an adult, you kind of lose those fears. But it's lovely to hear you all share, because I think it's something that we all have, really, to a greater or lesser degree. So calls like this are just awesome for transforming those fears, and also to hear other people's shares as well. It's really interesting to do that and know that you're not alone. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there.
Beautiful. And my intention for the call, it's really creating the awareness with all those little bits of fear that's being hidden. And I think Michelle spoke really clear on that. Those subconscious, I've been working a lot of my conscious fear the last couple of years, and having faced a lot of my worst fears, and looking back and I was like, oh, I did it. And realizing every time you face something like that, it becomes smaller and smaller, those fears as well. But also being able to download this new blueprint, where this whole new idea, whole new belief, and transform how we feel fear, because fear doesn't have to be something bad. And it's like the same thing with stress. They are actually healthy feelings if we know how to use properly, if we can recognize, if we can use to our favor consciously, instead of letting that drive the bus. Then being able to let the love drive the bus. Then I always say to my clients that either we're doing something based on fear or based in love. Then what I wish for all of you is starting to drive your life with love and not fear. And that's my intention. And I'm calling for Charlotte. Then I'm going to pass the ball back to Denise, and she's going to start with a little meditation to just kind of ground us on this new energy and it's starting getting the magic happen.
Yeah, and I think I just want to add, I share your intentions really, Anna, as well. It is often the subconscious ones, the ones that are hidden away. And it's often, I've faced a lot of the big ones, like, you know, going to live in Australia on my own and that kind of thing. But it's often the cumulative effect of all the little ones, you know, on their own. They might not be doing much harm, but it's all of them together in a bundle. And really, I spent a lot of my life over adrenalized and really in that, and early adulthood as well, really in that place of fear. And I've overcome some big ones, which is you know, it's really, when you do it, it's so, the growth that you can get from that is unbelievable. And I love the way you said, Anna, it's like who's driving your bus? Is it fear or is it love? It's brilliant. And one of the things I want to do with this meditation actually is just connect all of our energies, because we are kind of spread across the world. And although right here, looking at you all on the screen, it feels like you're all in the room with me. But this way, it will actually connect all of our energies together as well, a little bit more than just having us together on the screen. So if you are all ready, I'll ask you to just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And if there are any anxieties or any little niggles that you may be feeling inside your body, just breathe them out. And just imagine that you're surrounded by a big bubble of love, universal love. And as you breathe in, breathe that love into your body. Breathe it into every cell of your body, knowing that it passes from your lungs to your heart, and from your heart it gets pumped all over your body, into all of the cells, into all of the organs, into your glands, deep into all of your bones. And feeling that love spreading all the way to the top of your head and all the way down to the tips of your toes and your fingers. And just connecting with the love in your own heart. And feeling your own love spreading into every cell of your body. And let's just connect with the earth. So feeling roots growing down from your feet, going through any building that you might be in, down into the ground, into the earth, deeper and deeper down, all the way to the crystal heart of Mother Earth. And feeling her grounding, nurturing and loving energy returning to you through those roots. And feeling your heart aligning with the heart of Mother Earth. And now just sending love out from your heart to the hearts of all of us here in this call. And feeling us all connected in our heart space. And knowing that your parasympathetic nervous system is slowing down. Any alert response that you may have in your body is slowing. And when you consciously slow down and deepen your breathing, it slows down the stress response in your body. So being conscious of that love, being conscious of that calm energy around you and within you, and knowing that this beautiful space that we find ourselves in can be called upon any time. This is within you. This is part of you. This is you. We are all love. And love is all that is real. So breathing deeply, and just allowing yourself, when you're ready, to become aware of the rise and fall of your belly with your breathing. And becoming aware again of where you are seated. As you come back to your body, back to your physical surroundings, still feeling grounded and connected to the earth. And with your awareness in your heart space, in the center of your chest, and opening your eyes when you're ready.
Amazing. That was great. Music, thank you. How you guys doing there? Good? Yeah. The show okay? Good, 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 good. Okay. One thing that I'm really curious is, what does fear mean to you? Now we know that each person has a different perception of things, and we know that depending on where we are in life, things has different meanings. And when you think about the word fear, when you feel the word fear, what does that mean? What does that feel like? And maybe it's a specific color, maybe it's a specific shape, maybe you feel something in your body. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys have on that piece. Putting down the talking stick.
For me, it it instantly makes me say no. It's a barrier, it's a wall, and I can say no, or not say no, but say no in lots of ways, and then realize actually it's not because I don't want to, it's because there's a fear attached to. So it'd be safer not to. And that's exactly how I am with my son. Yeah. And he, of course, mirrors that. Which is just great. To remind me. But yeah, it's a wall. Sometimes visible, sometimes completely invisible till I really question.
And how does that feel when you kind of get that feeling of saying no because the fear is driving the bus, not the love, right? And that's a really good metaphor for that. What you're just saying is like, okay, then I'm not going that direction because that doesn't feel safe for whatever reason. How does that feel in your body when you?
It makes me rigid. So my natural response, I now realize over the years, is to be very solid, rigid. So when I think of fear, when I was thinking about this course, probably the biggest fear is that letting go of emotion, feeling. Yeah, that's probably my biggest fear, and that comes into everything. Yeah, it's control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there a specific part in your body that you feel that?
It's upper.
Upper, like heart.
Yeah, that's where I hold everything. Yeah. Still working on it, Anna, as you know.
We get there. Better every day.
I know now. I know what it is.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Kim?
Okay, well, for me, a lot of it has been anxiety. So, and then, and physically, I do feel it like in my chest. And then sometimes when I'm sleeping at night, I kind of feel like a feeling in my legs when I think about something that I'm afraid of or whatever. I can literally feel like that I'm putting that fear in my body with certain thoughts, and then it causes me, or my reaction is to avoid things that I'm afraid of, and especially situations. For me, I have this like a social phobia, so that is like a huge thing, is that I'll just try to like figure out how to get out of like meetings or, you know, situations like that. Like usually I'll just try to avoid it. And what else? And then I think a lot of my other fear that's more external is just the fear of the planet right now, the direction that it appears that we're going into, and my concern about nature and animals and people, what's just what I see in the future. So a lot of it for me is in the future, what I perceive as going to happen that I don't want to see happen, things like that.
We're going to have a whole call about that catastrophic feeling on the July 31st. Make sure you highlight that day.
Okay.
Yes. It's such a common feeling, and it comes sometimes in such a small doses. It's like looking outside and seeing some, like a tree dying, or, you know, it doesn't even have to be the whole planet. Mm-hmm. But it can be such like small situations where like sometimes people think about, oh, if I don't have a job, or if something happened, I'm going to be homeless, or am I going to have enough food to eat tomorrow? You know, it's always kind of that feeling of the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. And it can be in a smaller scale, or like you're saying, more like a planetary scale, but they all kind of come the same core feeling of catastrophe. Mm-hmm. Yes, beautiful. Definitely going to address that later. And you were saying also about the social phobia. What is a lot of that's the separation, right? Being connected to others. And when we have that feeling of we are 100% connected, there is no others in us. There is us. Okay. That's going to be on the 24th. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to touch on all of that good stuff there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Michelle always also say that feeling of saying no and avoid. We're kind of coming back to that. A lot of that sometimes coming from fear of not being good enough, or I'm not capable, or I don't deserve. that can be so represented in so many different ways, because each situation is a different situation. Then kind of going back to, okay, why? It's like I'm avoiding, I'm saying no, I'm realizing that, and why? And then going deeper and deeper and deeper to, or not going deeper at all and just clear out. Then, yeah, good stuff there. Okay. Do you guys have any questions so far? No? Chanel, would like to write your answer on the chat box, like what's fear for you and how you feel it? Give me a second there for her to. Denise would like to add anything?
Yeah, I'd love to share actually while Sharon's just writing hers. I very much feel mine in my body, and for me it's solar plexus. It's around my stomach. It's that that kind of adrenaline response of, you know, the butterflies you get, but at different levels. So sometimes it can just feel like a flutter, and other times it's like it's so strong. And I think sometimes we feel it in our heart area because it closes off our heart. What we're feeling is our heart closing off, and all the energy is like slipped from up here, you know, to lower down. And something that I just wrote down as we were saying that as well, that sometimes we're not even feeling our own fears. Yes. As empathic beings, which we all are. You know, you can walk down a busy street and suddenly your energy changes, and it's not even, you're feeling everyone else's stuff. So you're feeling everyone else's fears as well. And at this time on the planet, there's so many fears being released onto the planet that we're often picking up on that, and then it feeds ours, and, you know, and kind of, so it perpetuates itself really. Yeah, so that's, and shoulders as well, like, you know, I tense up. I've because I've spent so much time in fear, my shoulders here are still very, very rigid. And often, you know, I don't realize, but my shoulders are up here. So it's good to start to have that awareness in your body as well, of noticing when your body changes as well. And you can muscle test yourself as well. It just feels right to bring this in. So if you make two circles and intertwine them like that, so you ask your body, show me a yes, and a yes should be a strong, you know, you can't break through that, and a no, then one of your hands will slip through. So you can ask yourself, when you feel certain emotions, but fear, as we're talking about fear, is this mine? And probably something like 80% of the time it's not. It's other people's that you're actually feeling. And that's a good starting point, because that, knowing that it's not even yours, I mean, presumably there's a bit of yours in there for it to add to, but knowing that that might be just that tiny little bit, and that much isn't yours. That in itself is really beneficial to help transmute it as well. Yeah, I think that's someone once said, and I heard a better analogy after this, but you know, FEAR, false expectations appearing real. Yes. And our body reacts to that as if it's here and now. Mm-hmm. And I think in this was you that was saying that it's often things in the future that aren't even here, mm-hmm. and probably will never be, because often the big things that happen aren't always the things that we fear either, and we just deal with them when they do. But the fear of them is often way worse than the actual thing itself. Mm-hmm. So false expectations or false evidence appearing real. And that's really good to break it down to that as well, and just think, yeah, that's actually all it is. It's not actually real. So I'll put the talking stick down if you want to let us know what Sharon.
Okay, awesome. Before I read Shanna, I just want to make a couple points about what you say because I totally related. And for me, it's always been heartburn, like you're talking about the solar plexus and the heart. Like I usually know if I'm trying to over control or I'm acting from fear, usually I can feel that kind of heartburn kind of feeling. That's usually good indication that's like, oh, not doing in the right direction there. And the muscle pass with like passing through. It's even hours because a lot of times all of us here are highly sensitive. And being that sensitive, it's like a lot of times we are feeling things that it's from someone else or even from like the planet as a society. And yeah, beautiful thing there. Then Shannon say, mainly my fears are of being judged, vulnerability, not being good enough, and I become paralyzed in those feelings instead of pushing past it and get what I need to get it done. Yes, and yes. Oh my gosh, the not being good enough fear. Whew. I think I can probably point out at least 80% of all the fears in the planet. It's like a lot of the fears come from that feeling of not being good enough, and then becomes judgment, and then can I be vulnerable if I'm not good enough? Then yes, thank you, Shannon, for sharing. Great points there. If you want to type it down, where do you feel that in your body as well? Just to start getting more awareness of how does those feelings start showing up. One thing that I really like about the body awareness, it's a lot of times we feel that in our body before we see or think. Yeah, I think it was Michelle that mentioned something about sometimes it's invisible, and until you kind of crash on the face on it, and it's like, oh, too late now. Once we start getting more awareness of our body, we start getting those settled feelings that it helps us to manage and choose a different direction even before things get out of control. Then being able to see the wall before the wall is there, before we kind of hit on the face, then the body awareness piece for me feels such a crucial piece there. Yes, Michelle, you had a question before?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if it's relevant now. It was something Denise was saying earlier. And I just wanted to question, in the past, in social situations, I would say, oh, I'm shy and that's why, rather than, so I would label, I now realize I label things with all manner of names. But yeah, the root cause is fear. And just from what Kim was saying, I so get the avoidance. I'm amazed I didn't see how much I was avoiding before. And just simple things like not watching the news, not having the telly on, because you're fearful of what you see, and that fear of not being able to do anything, I just think gets stronger and stronger at the moment. And yeah, you don't realize these things. I just say I'd rather listen to music. But it is avoidance.
That is true. I'm going to ask Denise what's your opinion on that, Denise, as well. But that piece of watching the news, Michelle, that actually has two directions.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, it can be an avoidance piece. It can be like you're propagating that fear that I'm just not going to go there, that you get triggered by, that you saw the TV and you're like, oh, no, turn it off, I don't want to see it. But that's a fear-based feeling.
Yeah.
But there is a place where we can actually be, that we don't need to know the stories.
Okay.
We don't need to know the details. We know that's happening. We are aware, and we are sending love. We are doing our part. If there is something that you need to go to, there is something in the community that you can participate, yes. But just watching, to be connected to that story, what we are doing, we actually amplify the fears. Because every time that we tune in something energetically, we're giving attention to it. I think I don't know if it was Matt Cohn or was Jim Self. It was one of the people that I was listening to it, that I follow. He was saying something about every time that we repeat the story that we saw on the news, we are marking the story.
Okay.
That we actually giving more power. Did you see what this person did? That we actually marking the story to someone else. And the person say, kind of like in a funny way, and they say, I am not here to marketing for anybody for free. That I don't repeat the stories that I hear on the TV, especially if it's nothing that I can do about it. It's just to repeat and be engaged on that story for being engaged on the story. If there is something in our power to do something, to change, to make an impact, yes. But just to disseminate the story and create more fear around us, that's something that we can kind of bring it back and say, okay, why are we share? And then you can pick, you know.
I love that about the sending love, because now I have this huge need to do something. I've never felt it before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the start of doing something, yay, thank you.
Yes. Beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. Denise, I love to hear your takeaway on that question as well.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this up. It's it's really interesting, and I avoid drama for many reasons, but one of the and I don't watch the news because I think it's designed to trigger a fear response in us as well, and I don't see the point of adding to the things that, you know, if you've got, I think this was Matt Kahn, and I wish I could remember a lot more of what he said, but he said if you've got someone in front of you that's starving, then you're going to feed them. But there's, other than sending love, there's really nothing that you can do about all the drama that's on the news. And it's interesting, I haven't watched the news for years now, for about, 15 years. And when it's been on somewhere, it's exactly the same as it was 15 years ago. It may be different names, different places, but the tone, the energy of it is exactly the same. So I kind of, it can be avoidance, but I think there's in that particular instance, there's nothing wrong with that, because it is designed to feed fear. And as you put it so well, Anna, I don't believe in feeding fears. I don't know if I have much more to add than that, really.
No, that's perfect. Yeah.
Even drama on the TV, I don't actually watch TV at all because of all that, and I feel my body responding to dramatic situations. You feel yourself having an adrenaline response and reacting, and it's not even real. You know, teaching meditation, one of the things I teach is your body doesn't understand the difference between what's imagined and what's real, which is why when you imagine in meditation space that you're walking through a forest or walking through by the ocean, your body responds as if you've been doing exactly that. And to me, it's the same with drama on the TV. You'll have like the response that's actually happening, and I'd just rather avoid that. Really, I don't think there's anything wrong with avoidance sometimes. Putting down the talking stick.
Beautiful, beautiful. There's any other questions, Shannon? If you have any question, if you want to type that out, we'll be happy to answer any question you have as well. Kim, Michelle, do you guys have any other question there as well that we can? Good. Then what are we planning for each week? Is we're going to be deepening to a specific topic. Then let me bring up the scheduling here. And like we know, right, every time that we remove a piece, things ripple out. Then we were talking about just that piece of watching the news, right? And then we kind of bring that in the bigger scale, but we also bring that to a small scale if you think about your neighbor. If you hear gossip from your neighbor, and now you go to the other neighbor and like tell, did you see what this person did? That it's the same theory, right? And it's like a lot of times it's breaking one pattern and we start to ripple all the other patterns. And we don't have to sit here and talk about every single fear that's possible. But the idea here in general, to summarize really, it's transforming every single fear in love. And then the plan for the next couple of weeks would be on the 17th, we're going to be talking about the physical body. Then a lot of people have that feeling of, am I going to die? Am I going to get sick? What if something happened to my body and I'm in the wheelchair? What if I'm in the hospital? Or it can be small things about, oh, I had a cut, and is that going to heal? Then again, like, is there like a bigger fear, or is there a subconscious fear? And if we have the smaller feeling of, I woke up, my neck is stiff, is my neck going to get better? Instead of having that feeling of like, oh yeah, my body knows exactly what to do. And it's going to be fine later today. And having that trust that we are aligned to be in well-being no matter what. That's the goal for the next goal. Then after that, we're going to be talking about the fear of separation to align with connectedness. And Kim gave a perfect example of that with the judgment, rejection, being lonely, being abandoned. How many times, especially teenager and childhood, many of us had that feeling of being left behind, either because we didn't fit in or because we're not good enough or whatever reason it is. But bringing that feeling of being connected, we are one. We are all human beings here on this planet, like hand in hand, working together. And then we're going to talk about the 31st with transforming catastrophic feelings. They can be as small as, what if I have a storm and the house fall off? What if, they have too much water outside and I can't get out of the house? It can be somewhat smaller things that we fear of, or it can be like a bigger scale, like Ken was mentioning about what's going to happen to the planet. Right? And on the 7th, it's going to be the last day, then we're going to deep dive on the whole not being good enough piece. We're going to talk about self-esteem, confidence, and how love empowers us to be vulnerable and to release that judgment towards ourselves and towards others. Then being comfortable in our skin, it helps us to accept us, but it also helps us to accept others. And that ripples back to us again. Because if we accept us and we accept others, the person in front of us will accept us. Does that make sense? Yeah, Michelle looks like, what? Am I going too crazy? Okay.
Yeah, that week's scary for me.
That's why we put down the last one. We're going to build it through that.
I'm like, whoa.
Just one step at a time, one little bite.
Oh, goodness. I need to put my camera further away. You're picking up far too much.
Well, I don't need the camera. I can see you. Oh, man. Denise, would you like to add anything as far as the program and the ideas and what we are cooking?
No, other than it's all really juicy, and I'm looking forward to it. And we've lost a couple of people. I don't know if they've, hopefully we just lost Kim as well there. I don't know if our internet just dropped out, but and just to add to what I was saying before, I've been on a negativity diet for years. That's what I put it down to. It's like there's too much negativity out there. And so, yeah, I've been on a negativity diet for a long time. I'll put the talking stick back.
Oh, I love the negative diet. Yeah, I think 99% of the planet right now is in the negative diet. Beautiful. Yeah, that's such a good point. It's like, what are we eating? What are we taking in our body? Yeah, beautiful. Well, Shannon, do you want to see anything else you wanted to say? Anything, questions you have? Kim probably going to come back. She probably disconnected. And she, Derek, I don't know what happened either. She probably disconnected either because she's not online. Lost the internet. Okay. Send a message to Shannon, see if she's there. Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for joining us. And if you're interested, I can send you the recorded later. Then you can actually listen when you're in a quiet place and be able to focus a little bit more. So, yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Shana. I appreciate it. Beautiful. Okay. Well, let's give a few more minutes to see if Kim come back. Then we can start the light language activation. How does that sound, Michelle? How does that sound? So Denise, do you want to explain a little bit what is that we're going to be doing with the light language and what is? I don't think, Michelle, you don't have an experience for light language, right? Have you heard about it before?
No.
Okay.
It's next topic to look at.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to do a little bit of meditation first as well, just to get us into a nice kind of open space and heart space before that as well. So light language carries codes and frequencies and keys. So it can be used for many things, but what we're going to be using it for here is to lay a blueprint into our bodies, because it can hold perfect blueprints in our bodies. So for example, every organ in our body has a perfect blueprint, and life kind of, you know, puts that out of balance, and we lose sight of that perfect blueprint. So in a different scenario in my healings, for example, I can put in the perfect blueprint, and then our body knows what it's kind of working towards. It's got that perfect blueprint there. So, or we can use it for a certain purpose. So for example, stepping up, our life purpose, it can help us move towards that way of being. And the interesting thing about light language, it sounds linear. When we talk English, it's linear. But light language is quantum by its nature. It just sounds linear because it's coming out of this mouth with a tongue. But actually, it's quantum in nature. So a little bit of light language can hold a whole universe. So that's how it's kind of quantum and not linear. The way that it sounds, it can sound like words. And sometimes when we hear them, it's like there's a familiarity there with them. It's coming from the heart to the heart, and it's like the language of the soul, the language of the heart. And you can have three people together hearing the same light language, and it will have the effect that you need on your body. And it works with your higher self as well to give you what you actually need. Yay, you're back. Welcome back, sweetheart. I'll just run through that again for you, Kim, because I presume that you've not encountered light language before. So I was just talking really about what light language is and how it works. So in a healing situation, it can carry certain frequencies that I feel as well what it's going to do in this case is actually help us release some fears that we're holding. And that can be, you know, we can hold fears through our DNA. that are not even ours. They're from generations back. So this can help, you know, with past generations. It can help with future generations as well. So if someone, for example, is of Irish descent and they went through the Irish potato famine, then you can hold that fear of famine and that fear of lack from what our ancestors have been through. It can also be learnt as well. A lot of our fears are learnt. Yes, so light language carries codes, frequencies and keys. Some of it comes through in kind of like tones, and some of it comes through and it sounds like words. And some people have quite profound feelings from it. It works on the subtle realm, on the quantum realm, and other people might not really feel very much. And it doesn't matter if you feel a lot or you feel a little, it's still working on your body. And it works in a way, it's the same light language for all of us, but it's working for all of us in a different way because it connects with your higher self. So it gives you what you need as well. And it can put into your body perfect blueprints. Now, sound creates geometry. I don't know if you're familiar at all with cymatics, C-Y-M-A-T-I-C-S. But cymatics is where they place sound through sand, for example, and it creates beautiful geometric shapes that look as though they're flat because the sand is flat, but it's actually creating geometry which is in 3D. So sound creates geometry, and geometry is actually the basic building blocks for life. So it can trigger your body to kind of create these geometries within us. So in terms of healing, that's different. But in this instance, it's for a purpose. So you can use light language for a purpose as well. So we'll be releasing fears through this, but I feel it's also putting in different blueprints into our body that are less fearful. Does that make sense? I'll put it there if anyone's got any questions. For me, when I receive, I just feel really yummy when I receive light language, and I can feel the energy around me as well. But I'm much more of a feeler. I'm more clairsentient, so I really feel things. That's one of my primary senses, and knowing as well. But everyone, you know, you'll have your own experience, and don't worry if you're not really feeling very much. It's still happening within you. All right, I think that's me done on the speaking bit. I'll hand over to you, Anna, if no one has any questions, because you're going to do a bit of a meditation first, aren't you?
I think you should just leave the meditation. You should go right into the light language.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels really, the energy feels really powerful right now.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with that, but I do feel I actually just need to go into my bladder before
okay, you go there.
if that's all right.
Make sure you're clear. Did that make sense to you guys? Is that a question? It's really kind of like a feeling thing. It's I guess once you guys feel and receive it, then we can kind of dialogue a little bit afterwards and see if
the only word I'm stuck on is quantum. Denise mentioned quantum something a couple of times.
Yeah, quantum energy.
I don't know what. I have no idea what that means.
The idea of quantum is if quantum kind of breaks a lot of the rules of physics, because we have physics, and then quantum comes to explain energy. If you do some research online about quantum energy, you're going to see that's a little bit bigger than what we know as far as electricity or physics, like components, but it's still quite limited. But it's really the doorway to starting to explain these woo-woo things we do. That's kind of what, it's kind of like a linear, not linear, it's a different branch of physics.
Okay.
they start kind of bringing more the energetic. That's when you think about more like a three-dimensional object, or when you start to bring more like the four-dimensional, you kind of start feeling as well.
Okay.
Denise, she was just asking, what is quantum energy? If you want to kind of add your takeaway on that as well. I just explained my portion.
Yeah, good question. Linear, excuse me, linear is where things kind of follow on. So time is considered linear, but it's not actually. It's quantum, but I won't go into that too much here. But it's linear is multi, and it works on a very, very deep level. So it's quantum physics tells us that everything is energy, everything is vibration, but it also tells us that life is not linear, that it's actually everything is happening now, and everything is oh, there's something else I was just going to say there, but it's just slipped me by. Yeah, so you've got like multiverses as well. You've got not just this life that we're in, but they say in the quantum world that every decision you make, there's many other parallel universes happening at the same time. So that's a little bit about what quantum is, that it's very multi, if that makes sense. Does it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, think about three-dimensional aspect. So like when you look at the clock and you see the clock moving this way, right? You kind of like you just see the kind of like the legs of the clock kind of moving, and that's a pretty linear idea. But think about the same clock in a three-dimensional way, where you kind of see from the back and from the side, and then it's just one object. You can just see from this direction, or you can see from multiple directions. Then if you transfer the concept of the clock to actually time, then we think about a linear, okay, we have 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6:30. It's a linear way of living. But we also know, for example, when we have a lot of fun, the time is moving really slow or very fast.
Yes.
On the other hand, if you're doing something that's extremely boring, you can look at the clock every minute and it feels like every 10 minutes. But when you think about quantum physics, that's what explains that concept of time is not linear, because our perception of time is not linear.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help to clarify a little more? Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Kim, any question before we deep dive on that? Okay, I'm ready. I'm excited.
And I would like to say on this as well that what we are doing today, every little bit of work that you all do on yourselves, that we all do on ourselves, we're actually doing for the collective. So not only do we experience things for the collective sometimes, but we actually it has an impact on the collective, because we are all one, and not just on a planetary level, but even on a universal level. Everything is connected. So thank you all for volunteering to be here today to receive this as well, because we are doing it for all, for everyone. And not only that, but because you are on planet Earth and you are connected to the Earth, you're actually doing this for Mother Earth as well. So this is really helping her in her kind of ascension and in her growth. Every little bit that we do on ourselves is really affecting things on a whole planetary scale, which is just amazing. All right. So if we're all ready, wonderful, you're all muted, that's perfect. So let's just quieten our breathing again, so deepening our breathing. And breathing out any resistance that we may have, breathing out any fears. And bringing ourselves in this now moment. And feeling those roots going down again deep into the earth. connecting ourselves on an energetic level to Mother Earth. And feeling her love and her gratitude for what we're doing right here in the here and now, but also I'm feeling her gratitude for all of you and her love and recognition. She knows all of her children. So feeling her love and her gratitude for all that you do and all that you are. And I also open this to the celestial realms, to all of our angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, and all of the other beings in the universe that wish to be with us now. The elementals, and I call in for this the sound healers of the planet, and I call in the energies of the whales and the dolphins and the birds and all of the other sound healers. And bringing our energy into our heart space, bringing our energies into the place of love. And as we did before, just imagining we're in a beautiful bubble, a cocoon of love, that we are surrounded by love, that we are love. And breathing that love into our bodies, into every cell, into our DNA, into all of our organs, and allowing love to fill up every cell, and allowing the fears to release. And feeling our bodies start to relax. Feeling our head relax. Feeling the muscles of our neck and shoulders, and allowing the tension to be released from those areas. And feeling the love moving down our arms, all the way to the tips of our fingers. Feeling the love moving down into our chest, our bellies, filling all of our organs with love. Feeling the love moving down our spine, and from our spines into our nervous system. And feeling the love moving down into our hips, down our legs, going deep into all of our bones, into all of our glands, from our hearts going into every vein and artery, all the way to the tiny capillaries. And feeling the love moving down our legs to our knees, our ankles, and our feet. And if you wish to have something to focus on, you can focus on my voice, or you can focus on the rise and fall of your belly with your breathing. Oleneste iata, kulene tiesta ayana, kuleneste iaka. Yelanashta ayana ko ume, iataka iatokolana oma. Tia neshte iata, keyalanamasto inamaka. Hialanamekiashta, ialanamekiata iata. Kia heo. Toilahi. Hoya ine ato. Yelenakiasta anamako ola. Yelenakiasta. Yelenakiasta ianamako ume. Tiyelenamaka iesta. Kulenishta ayato koma. Kuyenasta iata. Kielena kolana. Kuyenanashta ai iatoi iatoko olanama. Hielena kiste iata. Kiata yanakola. Tukolana masta. Tokoya hianata iata. Koya hianayayo. Toya hiyayayo. Yelena kibolena shtapat anaka. Yelena ki iastoi. Kulena makaya shta iatoi. Yelena ki iatoi namaka. Toyanama ayata. Iastoy namakalana. Eastoya ita. Elena mekia namako oyatai. Hialanamokoya nesta. Toyelana makialana kayelana koyasta. Yelana ko oyasta. Koyelana makiita. Tealana mako ustoy. Kielana make. Iatoika. Elena kialana kaa. Yelena koya. Toya hey. Oya. Toya. Ilehia Tulanasta ai imeke iasta tulene iasta ulena maka tulena iata kulanta kulente iata. And just breathing deeply, allowing the energy to move into every cell of your body. Feeling again where you are seated, feeling your sitting bones. And beginning to come back to your physical surroundings, back to your physical body. Feeling that grounded connection to Mother Earth. And opening your eyes whenever you're ready. And if you have water there, just taking some water. Sometimes we go a lot deeper than we realise, and we don't always realise that we're deep until we come back. So welcome back, everybody. And sometimes it can take a moment after a transmission like that for brain and mouth to engage again. So yeah, I'll pass the talking stick back to Anna, and if there's anything anybody would like to share, feel free to. And if you don't, if you're not ready yet, if you're just in that quiet space, then that too is fine.
That was juicy. Oh, thank you, Denise. I saw a bunch of whales. That was beautiful. When you're doing the singing at the beginning, it's definitely activating the water. Oh, love it. Love it, love it. Well, I'm going to put the talking stick on the center. If you guys want to share, how was your first experience with the light language? If not, like she say, if you just kind of in the quiet moment right now, we can just ask that question next week. But if there is any question or anything that you guys want to say before we close, I want to give you that chance. Okay.
Well, it was just cool because it sounds like a Native American language, and that's just something that's one of the reasons I moved to New Mexico, because I feel like a super strong connection to like the old Native spirit, and that's kind of like my I don't know, like my go-to when it comes to spirit and everything. So I just felt like a strong connection to like the ancestors and my guides, and it just felt really good, which I'm a feeler too. So I know that on that level, it just, yeah, I don't even know what happened, but I felt really good. That's all.
That's all we need.
It can be good. Oh, you muted, sweetheart. It can be good to go out in nature. I know you've got a meeting to go to, but it can be good to connect with nature after this and connect with the trees, especially because trees are real like transmitters. So grounding this energy to the earth and to the trees, it kind of really, really gets spread around. Yeah, and thank you for your share as well.
Michelle?
Yeah, that was amazing. And actually, as I look out to my trees, that's a bit kind of not ready for that just yet. It made me a bit woozy. But I love the roots. When you talk about root, that feels amazing. I love that. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that's.
And we can release. Sorry, Anna, I just jumped in there. We can release emotions after this as well. So if there are any emotions out there that feel like they need to come out, if you need to cry or stomp your feet or even just to be and just to be present with those emotions, you know, that's all good as well. But it can shift things, and it will have released a lot of emotions as well that we don't necessarily have to feel. We don't have to feel everything as it releases from our bodies. So but it can just make us feel a little bit insular sometimes, like we just want to be on our own. So, you know, there's no right or wrong with these things. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. And if you drink plenty of water as well, that's really good to help things just release from our bodies.
Beautiful. Well, I think we are complete. Like straight on the hour. That's perfection right there. Thank you, ladies, for participating.